Stu here with Raid Shadow Legends to go over Faction Wars 21 Ogryn Tribe with only 2 champions, and none of these are legendaries. It's a rare and an epic. Let's run through here. We are using the speed lead instead of the defense lead because we need our turns. We need our turns to keep cycling, and we've also got on here resistance. We'll talk more about that. I had to change some gear on these champions. I did. I had to change around actually some glyphs. I cheated a little bit and added to what they had, added increased resistance, increased accuracy. Before I did that, I ran through this just as fast. Look at this. This is 21 crypts. Look at how we're just beating this wave down with these 2 champions. Nerf this rare and nerf this epic is basically what it's going to come to, because if you don't know Bellower as a tanky Bellower and a stun set, how I've always played him, how I've done multiple videos on this guy, can get you through anything in this game. He can even function for you on Spiders 20. Really, he really can get you through Spiders 20 as well, or at least really help you out there, lock up all the spiders. But he does so many debuffs. We've got Bellower coming in here. He's going to slow speed, he's going to decrease attack, decrease defense, and then on his A1, which is the dirtiest part about him, is he's going to lock people out. You see that little lockout? That little lock and key up there, the padlock on everybody? That is Bellower's A1. That's like coming in here with a Hegemon and locking people out of their abilities. But Bellower's got it on his A1 AoE. And then we can increase that by 5% additional to apply it. It's pretty insane. As far as everything goes with Bellower, slow speed, decreased defense, decreased attack, those are the weaker versions. But then when you go to lock out somebody's ability to do any of their special things, they can only do their A1 then. That's pretty nuts. That's where really Bellower's most insane ability comes from. Okay, we get to stun people, right? We're in stun artifacts with this Bellower. Plus, we're putting up leeches, but we've got that covered with our Garush here. And the reason why I had to add a little bit of speed. So the speed I had on Garush was under 200 when I first started doing this. So I've done about 5 runs so far. He was under 200, and then my Bellower was over 200. But I was noticing my Bellower would take additional turns over the waves and over the boss. So I wanted to bring my Garush up, especially if the boss hits you with turn meter reduction, because his A1 is going to put a poison on you, and then he's going to try to drop your turn meter by 35% on the A1. His A2 is an AoE, and it's going to try to drop everybody's turn meter by 50% and put up a fear and a poison. And then whenever you attack this boss, of course, you can have an HP burn put on you. But everything on this boss, just like the last boss we talked about with Vizix, if you watched yesterday's video, can be resisted. So Bellower was already up around 300 resistance. He had no problem getting close to there. My Garush, unfortunately, I have him in a DPS set, right? I'm trying to get max damage out of him, and I didn't want to change away from that. If you want to change out of that, all you need to do for these 2 right here, or for this team, really just these 2, focus on these 2, is to get their resistance up around 300 and their speed over 200. That's it. Speed around 210, 205, resistance as close to 300 as you can get. And then with these 2, that will keep all the debuffs up, keep your heals coming, make sure that Garush is attacked. He's going to have the lowest HP, highest defense. He's going to be attacked, so that's good because he's got that resistance to shrug off that decreased turn meter and all the other debuffs that are putting up on there. And then whatever you have for the rest of your team, if you got a Man-Eater in here, if you have other rares, I really don't care what you bring with it. Just make sure they have higher HP than your Garush and that they're kind of a little bit survivable. Because what will happen then is you've got, whenever you have that many more champions, your turn meter is actually better. Because right now I'm fighting 2 champions against the boss, and he's taking more turns than he normally would. You would have other people in here. That's the way it works out, right? You'd have more people in here, and plus they'd be doing more damage. They'd be putting up more debuffs. If you do have a Man-Eater with some decent accuracy, obviously he can take the turn meter from the boss, which will make it super easy then. But you've got this safety net of these 2 guys right here plowing through this. Did you see how fast we got through those first 2 waves with just these 2 guys? Under 2 minutes. And I did that without changing any gear the first time. I did it under 2 minutes, very easy as well. The only thing I needed to change gear with and put some glyphs on was to make sure that I have over 200 speed, because my Garush was at 194 and my Bellower was at 210. And that's where I was noticing it. I was seeing my Bellower take 2 turns over the boss and over the wave sometimes. And I was like, okay, I don't see my Garush doing that very often. Let me get him over that 200 mark. So I got him over that 200 mark with some glyphs. And then I went in there, and anything that they had resistance on for him, for the Garush, because like I said, I had him built for DPS, and I wanted to keep him for DPS, but you don't have to. You could play it even slower and come in here and just have him built for speed and resistance, and he'll do fine. Plus, again, you're going to bring in some other people. I know you've got some other Ogryn Tribe you could bring in here, even at 50. If they were at level 50 and you had them leveled up, you could bring them in here and play them. Just get them with a lot of HP and then use whatever abilities they have to help your team out like this. Just make sure they're not dying, right? Well, even if they die, if you have these two built the way I do, then you won't have any issues. You'll come through here. Now, there was one other run. Like my first run I did through this, I got the boss down. I beat the boss. I got it down to 5%, and then my Garush died. I guess he just didn't resist some of these turn meter reductions. The whole thing with the speed is we need to be faster than this boss because this boss is trying to drop turn meter. Garush does do heals, but it's not like every turn heal. It's not coming in here with Vrask, where Vrask is going to do damage every turn and then heal everybody up every turn. He needs to cycle through and get back to that 4-turn cooldown to AoE to do the regen. Plus, he could do decreased attack on this boss. If you haven't noticed, Bellower is what makes it possible as well, because he's doing the decreased attack, decreased defense. Bellower's doing that slow speed, the slow speed right there. That is very important to have. We need to go faster. We need to take those turns so that we can feed off of this leech that we're putting up, and then we can also get those regens up as quickly as possible. And that's what's making this happen. So if you're too slow, if your resistance is too low, the boss is going to turn meter reduce you. On all those moves you see the boss doing, 35% turn meter reduction on the A1, 50% turn meter reduction on that A2, the AoE. And you can't have that. You can't have your turn meter keep being depleted and then being able to get our heals up. It's just not going to work for you. Unless you just had, maybe if we came in here with these two with some regen gear, a whole bunch of regen gear, but still 280 resistance or so, 300 resistance, then we could kind of heal back from it. You probably could. And you could probably do that in other factions as well. Just keep this in mind. This isn't for you to two-man it. This is just to show you how strong these two are and how easy really on bosses like this, once you bring up your resistance, it is to beat these kind of bosses. And there are quite a few bosses that do this. There's only a few of them out there that say that are not resistible with their stun. Like the dwarves one. When we fight the dwarf one, it says it's irresistible to do that stun. I think it places a fear on one and then stuns everybody else. So you need block debuffs then, because we can't resist it. But look at this. We are going through here super easy. Let's just skip forward. Let's skip forward to the end and we'll look at these champions and see what we have on them. Look, no problem. We got this in the bag. So hopefully you watch this video in time to be able to do this, right? To be able to go into your faction wars for this one, which just came out today, almost 2 hours ago now, and you'll be able to get through this. I hope this helps you out. Let's look at my champions and see what they have on them. Like I said, with my Garush, I have damage on him, and I didn't want to change him from this because I really like going in there. He does amazing amount of damage. He's a healer, and he does AoE moves, so I kept everything I had on him. I do obviously have a 2-piece speed, and then we've got the Savage set on him. His crit rate is only at 94. That's fine. 231 critical damage. Good defense, and then lower HP, which is fine. This guy is a beast. But I had to take away his accuracy banner, and then I started having to go in here again with the speed, with putting on those glyphs. You can see everything is glyphed now. Before it wasn't. So anything that had, not speed, anything that had accuracy or resistance, I added to it. I made sure that we could get to the mark that we've got on him right now. So he's at 276 resistance and 220 accuracy, which I do notice a difference. There is a difference when I'm going through here compared to our Bellower. Let's look at what our Bellower is. As far as resistance and having those debuff resisted, we do resist more with Bellower, and Bellower is at 329. I think 300 seems to be a really good mark for Faction Crips 21. With Bellower, we've got 329, we've got the 226 accuracy that we need, and then that's it with Bellower. This is our tank stun Bellower. I did have to switch out these two pieces here. I had a 2-piece accuracy before. I noticed I was like at 300 accuracy. Obviously, I don't need that much, so I went to the resistance to get his resistance up. 2-piece resistance set. We keep this. He is tanky, right? All we have on him is HP, defense percentage, speed boots, and then over here we've got defense and defense with HP, like a lot of HP right here too. So we just want to make your Bellower with as much of everything as you can and speed, and then we're not looking to do damage with him. We're not looking. He's just going to wrap up all the waves. And then as far as Bellower's masteries here, I've got down here Fearsome Presence. If you watched the video yesterday with my Sylar, with my Loria, you will have noticed similar type masteries for this. And then I came over here to give him, look, this sniper adds a 5% chance for him to lock up people, and then you want to extend all his debuffs he does. He does so many. But that sniper, 5%, 25% to block the skill cooldowns. We talked about that, right? The little lock. The thing that Hegemon does, this guy does it on his A1 on an AoE, and then we get a higher percentage chance to do the slow speed because the slow speed is not 100%. This is 100%, but it's worth it on Bellower. Believe me, you want sniper on him. You want to build him pretty much like this, and you'll be set. This is the tank stun Bellower video that I did like a year ago. And I've done follow-up videos on it, I think, as well. At least one. But he's amazing. And then Garush over here are the masteries I have on him because I'm trying to do damage. I've got Helm Smasher on him just to play around. You do not need to do this. You don't have to do this with Garush at all. You could actually put him in a stun artifact to get through the waves as well if you wanted to. I don't really see a need for it, but you can. Because he's got 2 AoEs where he's gonna stun everybody up, same kind of stuff. You do whatever you want with him. Honestly, you could run with 0 masteries and it wouldn't make a difference. Just keep his speed over 200, right? We're right there at it. We're at 211. And then make sure that you get his resistance and accuracy up to where it needs to be. Accuracy at 220 is fine. Then I would take his resistance up to 300 or 276 like you saw me do. But I'm telling you, I saw way more resisted from Bellower than I did from our Garush there. But that was pretty easy. Let me know if this helped you out. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below, and I will see you all on a video soon.